For MotoGP star Jack Miller, the journey to his current Crossroads started with an unlikely dream.
Coming from North Queensland, we've got no racetracks, nothing like that. It was never even in our radar. My dad, he grew up on a farm, never raced, wanted to race, but could never afford to and never find the time. A motorcycle for him was basically more of a necessity. They needed to use it to work with the cattle, with the sheep, growing up in New Zealand, climbing the mountains and whatnot. Started riding at the age of 3. And yeah, it was just something to do throughout the weekend, that it was more of a father-son bonding sort of thing. I was starting to race my brother and beat my brother. I was like, oh, I'd like to, do this against other kids. Dad sort of put it to me, do you want to go racing kind of thing? And I was like, yes, of course I do. So I raced throughout my early years and was always I enjoyed motocross. My dream was always to become a motocross racer.
After many injuries, at the age of 14, Jack took his show on the road.
The following year, took my tumbles, I learnt what I needed to, and by the end of the year, I started winning in Australia against the top guys that have been doing it for many a year. I had a mechanic at the time. He'd been in World Championship and worked with some great riders in the past, and he was basically saying to my parents, like, you gotta do something with this kid, like he's really good. You gotta not waste this talent. And my parents took that extremely serious. I loved racing my motorbike, and I loved the idea of not going to school and being able to go and race my motorbike on the other side of the world, so I was all for it. It's an amazing story, and there's a lot of these stories that maybe don't, fortunately for us, that we got a happy ending. At this point now in my life that I've pretty much set out and done everything that I ever dreamed of and more. Everything from here on is a bonus.